Okay. So one of the types of fallacies of ambiguity is called composition. This is when you conclude that the whole part of something has properties of the individual parts. So to put it another way, you infer something of the whole because the parts of the whole have those same properties. All right, write that down. You infer something of the whole because the parts of the whole have those very same properties. Give yourself a little bit, think about it, and then I'll give you an example. So if I were to say, every page of Moby Dick is very thin, so it must be a very thin book, right? Not true. We know that's not true. If you've ever picked up or have seen the novel Moby Dick, it is very thick. The pages, individual pages of the book, has absolutely nothing to do with the wholeness of it. These fallacies of ambiguity are pretty easily determined as false, but nonetheless, it is important to know that they exist and are sometimes obviously wrongfully used. And with that, we're left with our last family of presumption. I left this for last because they can be a little difficult to identify. All right, as the name suggests, there's a serious presumption going on in the sequence of the premise or premises and the conclusion that make the final argument just illogical. One type of presumption fallacy is called false dichotomy. Okay? False dichotomies draw on a conclusion from a false either or statement. An either or statement that makes it seem like there's only one choice when really there are many choices. There's a middle ground. So, for example, if we want better schools, then you have to raise taxes. If you don't want to raise taxes, then you can't have better schools. Right? We know that this is not an if then. We know that it doesn't have to be either or, but oftentimes this logical fallacy is used to kind of create that with us or against us mentality. We know that there is quite possibly room for middle ground, but the structure of a statement like this, the form of a false dichotomy, makes it seem as if we only have two options. Okay? So for class tomorrow, I want you to make your own. Okay, so one of each of these. I want you to make a red herring, come up with an example of a red herring, false cause, composition, and false dichotomy. Okay, we'll go over in class. Again, if you're confused on any of these, rewatch them. I do expect you to have notes of each of these definitions, and then, of course, the examples. We'll go over them, and I'll present to you probably 2 or 3 more of each family, and hopefully you'll start to see how these things are used all around us every day. And I think that if you haven't already kind of thought of some examples, you will increasingly become aware of the fact that these are used all the time. But as consumers of information, you're going to be more equipped to identify them and know when an logical fallacy is being used to veer away from an argument or distract you or make something sound true when it just simply does not add up. All right, so that's your homework. Come up with some examples, and I'll see you in class. Bye.